Hey guys, what's going on? Happy Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Wanted to jump on this live, guys, for something that I saw yesterday when I was looking at the usdebtclock.org website. I think I have that URL correct. Maybe they're missing a word or some letters, but I think it's usdebtclock.org. If you guys haven't checked it out before, it's literally like a real-time running total of like every imaginable fiscal category you can think of, from like the U.S. national debt to our deficit to our debt to GDP ratio to, state and local debt to federal plus state plus local debt, unfunded liabilities, unemployment numbers, manufacturing job. I mean, it's unbelievable, actually. It's a really incredible site. They even say that they have an app. I haven't checked the app out or downloaded it yet. But nonetheless, if you haven't seen the site, go there. It's something to behold. But the point is, I was on the site yesterday doing some research on some, I forget exactly which category I was looking into, like money supply or M1, M2 money supply, something like that. And I was just browsing around. I always get captivated by the site when I go on there. And I happened to look down. I don't even know if I noticed it there before, but there was a category, if you do know the site or you happen to go there, in the lower left quadrant, even though it's not split up into quadrants, you could generally look in that area and that's where you'll find it, was the category derivatives. Okay. Now, for any of you guys, look, I'm no derivatives expert. Let me be really clear about that. But generally speaking, derivatives are like bets on other people's bets. Okay. Let's put it that way. Like if you take out an insurance policy, I could bet on whether or not you're going to get paid out on that insurance policy. That's kind of another way of also describing credit default swaps and the whole 2008 meltdown and everything. It's another whole rabbit hole we could go down. But anyway, and I learned that analogy about the insurance policy, by the way, from the great movie about the 2008 recession called Inside Job, which came out in 2010. But anyway, I digressed. There's this category in there, derivatives. Bets on bets, okay? And you can kind of see, like, if you already have a cynical mind about it or you've lived through the 2008 recession or both, you can see why this is bad. You can see why derivatives could be bad, how they could create these sort of multiplicative effects on bad situations. And we'll run through that scenario here in a second, okay? But when I looked in the derivatives category, the box on usdebtclock.org, $652 trillion in derivatives. Okay, 652 trillion. Now, we think the national debt is staggering, right? We think $34 trillion is staggering. It is. You would also say that the unfunded liabilities that the United States has, 213 trillion. By the way, that number's on usdebtclock.org as well. Unfunded liabilities, 213 trillion. Just staggering, eye-watering numbers. Total derivatives investments, the value of all of them, I believe it was 52, maybe it was 57 or something like that, but I'm pretty sure it was 650 something trillion in derivatives. 3 times the amount of U.S. unfunded liabilities. So you say, okay, Chris, wow, that's a big number. Why the fuck are you talking about this? Why does it even matter? Well, let me give you an example of why it might matter. Now, let me just say, this isn't concocted entirely, because we saw this kind of thing happen in 2008, like I alluded to a moment ago, when you had a situation where there were bad loans being made in the subprime and housing sector, and then you had people betting on those loans going bad, or having, like lenders, paying out certain amounts of money or going bankrupt or whatever the case would be. That was the famous Big Short. The guy Michael Burry bought a bunch of these credit default swaps thinking that these mortgage loans would go bad, and everybody thought he was nuts, and they were happy to sell him these credit default swaps until they all came true. And the housing market collapsed, and Michael Burry made a killing, right? So what I'm about to say is not fantastical. It has happened already. But let me apply it to a current scenario that I've been harping on over and over again, especially on these lives and definitely across the platforms, wherever you guys follow me, is that right now, if you look at the commercial real estate situation, $3 trillion nearly in maturing commercial real estate loans between now and 2028. We already know these loans are going bad. Like, it's already happening. There are already borrowers who are defaulting. They can't pay these loans back. They're not getting any lease payments from their commercial real estate buildings, so they can't service the debt on those buildings. They can't really refinance. Either they can't do it at all or they can't do it favorably because of high interest rates right now. So they're stuck, right? And these loans are starting to go bad. Now, a loan that goes bad between a borrower and a lender is one thing, right? Loan goes bad, borrower is left in bad shape, credit shot, maybe bankrupt, can't invest for a long time, if ever, right? They're in bad shape. And the lender has a problem, right? They made a bad loan. They didn't collect the interest they projected. Maybe they didn't get all the principal back. So they have a problem. They have something that they have to do to their balance sheet. Maybe too many of those bad loans, and that bank goes under, right? That bank goes bankrupt, okay? So yeah, not good at that level. But now let's bring in the derivative part of the equation. Let's now add in the fact that potentially, although I would argue that almost assuredly this is happening, but let's just pontificate a little more openly. Let's say in some instances or to some degree, there are derivative investments being made. An investment is a very loose term here. There are derivative investments being made against those loans, right? And we know, we definitely know people are shorting these loan indexes and stuff like that. I think I even did a video many months ago about that. It was called the Widowmaker. There's one particular tranche of commercial real estate loans that everybody shorted too early or whatever. So look, I don't even think it's fair to say this is speculation that people are doing this, but I'm just kind of putting it out there loosely. But let's say you have this CDS, credit default swap scenario from 2008 all over again right now with commercial real estate, right? I mean, some of this $650 trillion in derivatives probably found its way over to the commercial real estate market, right? Okay, so you have these loans go bad. That's bad enough. Everybody's worried about that to some degree. Now we find out, or we're going to find out, in my guesstimation, that not only did the loans go bad, but there were bad derivative investments tied to those loans that create that multiplicative sort of networked effect where all of a sudden a bad loan isn't just bad for the two parties, right? The bad loan isn't just bad for the borrower and the lender. The bad loan is bad for the borrower, the lender, and the X amount of people who took a bet on it and bet that it was going to go bad, bet that it was going to stay good, or whatever the case might be, right? So this is the kind of thing, guys, that it's the accelerant to the fire, right? We don't want to see bad loans being made in the banking sector. We don't want to see banks go under. We don't want to see the banking sector under stress. All those things are bad things. I mean, these all by themselves could be big problems for the economy, depending on the scale and the ferocity with which something like this were to unfold, right? But the issue, guys, is I don't think it's capped that way. I don't think it's capped to just the borrower and the lender. I think we're going to end up finding out that a big, healthy chunk of these $657 trillion in derivative investments were tied in one way or the other to the commercial real estate market. Or, could be as commercial real estate goes under and takes down other sectors, those sectors have derivative investments associated with them that also creates an accelerant effect in those particular areas as well. So it's not just like, maybe there aren't that many derivative investments in commercial real estate. Oh, we dodged a bullet there. Well, it doesn't all have to be there. It doesn't even have to be to a massive extent. It just has to be enough to create an outsized problem that then spills over into other sectors, which then bring in their own potential exposure to derivative investments, which then multiplies that effect, and the whole multiplicative effect goes on and on and on, and around and around and around, and this thing just blows out of control. 1,000%. So that's all I'm saying, guys. I mean, I really believe that we're looking at a pretty dicey situation here when it comes to commercial real estate, just as it stands. Okay, as it stands today, before even bringing in a calculation about the derivative investments that are at play here. Okay, before we even figure out what that number is and what that number is going to look like, and you gotta forgive me, guys, doing a little parallel parking here with one hand. You know what I mean? Like I just think this is going to be like the real big reveal. You know what I mean? Like, it's like somebody goes to Vegas, like with their spouse, and, they're like, oh, honey, I bet some money on the craps table and I lost. Oh, what'd you bet? Like, $100, $500, $1,000? No, honey, I bet the life savings. I really thought I had a hot hand and I bet the life savings on it. Sorry. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna have that kind of feel to it, guys. I think when the lid really blows off of this thing. So, I think I can't emphasize it enough, guys. I think it's going to be a doozy, and I think it's not all about that number I saw on usdebtclock.org, guys, but that triggered this series of thoughts, this desire to make this video, because just seeing that number and this scale, the staggering quantity of derivative investments out there, that, I mean, it makes the U.S. unfunded liabilities of $213 trillion seem quaint when you look at derivative investments that are on the books there. So anyway, guys, just check it out when you get a chance, usdebtclock.org. Drop a comment below, drop a question. Would love to hear what you guys think about this. It's a total nightmare, complete effing mess that's just waiting to get the lid blown off of it. So anyway, thanks for checking in, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Until next time, hope everybody has a great Tuesday night, and we'll talk to you guys soon.